My name is Scott Rozelle. I'm a professor at Stanford University, and I work with a group called the Rural Education Action Project. And we're basically we're an impact evaluation group of economists that measure the impact of programs, investments, projects, see if they work or not, and then work with local and the regional and national governments to upscale these. Our idea is we find out things that work, especially as it relates to human capital of poor rural kids, and then try to have an impact on the 50 million poor kids that are in China. Certainly, I think our most important project now is our work for early childhood development. We're working with kids that are 0 to 3, and what we're finding is as we go out and we test kids for cognition, their IQ of babies, by the time they're 3, we find almost half of kids are sort of cognitively impaired. Think of it as having an IQ less than 90. IQ distribution, any high-income, healthy population, there would be 15% of the population that's below that, Larry. In rural China, it's half. So then, of course, the idea is, well, why? And, the literature shows us that, it's either genetics, which you don't have any input into, or nutrition, or stimulation, a stimulating environment, or let's call it parenting. And so what our project really is doing is to see, can we figure out programs or investments in nutrition and parenting, or both, that would then end up sort of raising the level of cognition of these kids as they hit 3. And of course, as they hit 3, most people understand there's something called the 1,000-day hypothesis, which is after 1,000 days, your IQ is more or less set for life, or it can't be raised very much. So this is extremely important for not only the long-run impact on the lives of the kids, but on an economy itself if it's so big. Besides really documenting the fact that this is a big problem, we've run 2 studies now. Think of them as large pilots. Rolled them out as randomized trials. So enrolled 2,000 moms and their babies, and then 1/3 of them we gave little nutrition supplement packages, so micronutrient deficiency packages, and the thing was vitamins, a vitamin that you mix into your porridge every day. And 1/3 of them we gave a parenting environment. So, and like I said, we were working with the Family Planning Commission to do the whole study, but in particular, we trained these family planning cadres. We call them now parenting warriors, just to give it a little twist. Who, you remember, these are the guys that used to haul people in for sterilization and fine them, but since the end of the one-child policy, they're really looking to convert their role to one of not to restrict quantity, but to enhance quality. So we're training them to go into households and train parents, work with parents on how to work with their babies to provide a more stimulating environment. So to give them, teach them to read to their kid, to teach them to talk to their kid, to play with their kid, interact with them as in a way that we sort of take it for granted as in a developed country. And so then 1/3 of these moms, we just don't touch. They're the control group against which we then assess the impact. And what we've really found is that poor nutrition is a very big problem. Between 6 to 18 months, half of kids are malnourished. They have a micronutrient deficiencies. Now, by 24, 30 months old, that's mostly gone away. So this is a problem in just very early for babies, right? This is in the control group. When we give them a micronutrient supplement, it brings down these rates of anemia. It helps a lot. And actually you see a cognition rise. But because it's sort of naturally going away in the control group, in the long run, by 2 and 3 years old, we aren't getting much of an effect from this micronutrient supplement, from this vitamins, right? So I think it's important but that's not going to solve this big overall cognition problem. On the other hand, this parenting intervention where we go in and we teach mom how to interact with their baby has been absolutely, very, very big impacts, especially when we're working with mom and she has some level of education. We're taking her kids who would have an IQ of less than 90, so really be cognitively impaired almost, and they're normal. Their kids are normal. And it's a wonderful, wonderful set of outcomes. What we're really doing is teaching them the one thing that they don't know. So these little babies are in houses that they're nice houses, they're safe, their parents love them, the families are intact. The nutrition's a little bit of a problem, but after 24 months, they're feeding them well. The only thing they're missing is this sort of stimulation. And it's incredible when we go meet these moms, even if they're high school educated or junior high educated moms, is you tell them, do you talk to your baby? And they say, well, of course not. Why would I talk to my baby? It's like if I asked you if you had a pet fish, I said, do you read to your fish? Of course, you're laughing, right? And they laugh at you. And in the first several weeks and maybe a month or two, as these family parenting warriors teach them to read to their baby, these moms are embarrassed. Why would they're babies. They can't talk. Of course, we know that it's that stimulation that really sort of stimulates the mind that develops networks and really has an impact on the long run cognition of the development of these kids. But by 2 and 3 months, these mothers get it. They see their kid blossoming. They start talking more. There's more interaction, it's a wonderful thing. Our other biggest supporters are these family planning warriors. These are the family planning cadres that used to be scowled at and probably, but now they walk in there and to the village and the little kid comes running to them, calls them auntie, and they hug them and, they're bringing 2 toys and a book. My bribery maybe gets you everywhere, but it's this wonderful thing. The one problem with our intervention, I must say, is that by 24 to 30 months, half of the caregivers are moms, and that's big impacts. But the other half are grandmothers, because the other moms take their babies and give them to grandma. It's usually paternal grandma, so their mother-in-law, and then they go back to work in the cities. There hasn't had much of an impact on that. We have lots of challenges ahead.